It is
There we go.
very lovely to have you on here. So thank you so much for agreeing to do an interview with me. So would you just like to kind of introduce yourself a little bit? Just kind of say who you are, what you've written, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm CJ. I am a Christian indie author from Central California, and I have put out two books so far. I started my Instagram author journey back in November of 2024, and then I published my debut, The Sky Child, in September of 2025, and then I had my most recent novella come out June of this year. So I'm just kind of working through and getting stories out into the world, but I live here in California with far too many cats, and it is just kind of they both comfort me and fuel my craziness. So it's just a lovely little, I call them my assistants. They'll come in and they'll interrupt my writing sessions and just demand attention and stuff like that. But yeah, it is definitely a fun little experience. Having all of their little help is very beneficial. So yeah,
Oh,
fantastic. They're like my children. So certified cat mom as well as author.
oh, that's lovely. I love that you have loads of cats. Unfortunately, I don't have any pets here because we're currently petless. But I would like a pet at some point, and I do love
I can
cats.
ship you
So.
one of mine. Do you I can ship you the most naughty one. Like, here, have this one.
I mean, I'd be honoured. Brilliant. So I know you've mentioned that you've written two books. You've had one come out recently, which was called The Beautiful Heart, which was released last month, I believe, from when I had a look. Could you give us kind of a little quick summary maybe about that? And you can also talk about Scowl Child too afterwards if you want to give it a little summary of that one as well.
Yeah, sure. So The Beautiful Heart is kind of an idealized day, and it follows Ray. She's a late 20 somethings English teacher, and she's kind of been a little bit of a life slump. In the past year, she had to put down her soul pet, her heart horse, and because of that, the grief just kind of made her go really, really internal. And he was, like, she calls him in the story, he was my everything. He was like my brother. So he was just this very close kinship relationship that the two of them had. And so when he left, it just kind of derailed her entire life. And so we kind of find her at the beginning of the story, just really kind of down in the dumps, just really not functioning very well. And so kind of in desperation, I guess, of just wanting something to be different, she makes a wish on a falling star to have one more day with her horse, thinking like, that would just be fantastic. And little does she know, the next day she meets a really curiously familiar stranger, and it turns out to be her heart horse returned to her, but as a human. And they get to spend the day together, and they get to share memories, and they get to talk, and he kind of helps to guide her through her grief, to kind of say like, hey, yes, what we had was great, but there's also more life to be lived. Like, life isn't over just because I'm gone. And so they get to spend this day together, and they laugh and they cry, and it's just this wonderful time where they just kind of get that one more perfect day that they get to spend together. So that's kind of in a nutshell, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's lovely. I love that. Yeah, and I guess you obviously, did you base it a bit more on real life experiences, I guess? Because you, on your page that I've looked at, kind of you mentioned obviously you had a horse as well who was your sole pet. So I'm assuming that's kind of based a little bit on your experiences. So like,
It is very highly based, yeah.
so was that kind of your? I'm assuming that was your inspiration then, which is
Definitively.
yeah, which is a beautiful
It
inspiration
was.
to have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I want to say like I wrote this for people, and I did, like, honestly, but it was almost more of like my own heart project. That when I had my soul pet pass, it kind of in an it just kind of wrecked me as a human being, honestly. Like, it just knocked me out, and I did not handle it very well. And I kind of gotten into the habit of super late nights, just kind of sitting in the dark, trying to process what life was supposed to look like now, because my horse literally was the epicenter of my life. I worked for him. I built my schedule around him and his needs. And so when he left, everything that I had built my life around was gone, and I had kind of nothing to really cling to. And so I started thinking, if I had one more day, what would we do? What would we get into? And so at the stage of life where my horse was, he was almost 33 years old, which is pretty old for horses. And so he was retired from riding. And so we didn't really do a whole lot, but we went on a lot of walks and we played games, and he knew how to do different types of tricks. Like he could smile, give kisses, hugs. He could, give fist bumps with his knees. So he was very, very, very intelligent, and he was funny. And so a lot of the times I was thinking, like, what would we do? And it just kind of came back to, we would walk and talk. And so in the book, there's a lot of long conversations between the two protagonists, Ray and then her horse Aster, as a man. And it just kind of was a very selfish, I guess. I wanted to write that day. And so a lot of the things that are in The Beautiful Heart are directly related to my own relationship with my soul pet. And his name is Amigo, by the way. And he so he was the main driving force behind writing this. And I also wanted to not only document some of the things that I had learned, that I felt like I had learned through experiencing a profound grief like this, but I wanted others who might have been feeling a similar type of grief, or maybe feeling even disregarded in their grief. Because as open and as accepting as our culture is, we kind of suck when it deals with people's pain, especially around grief, and then unconventional grief. It's not recognized. And I wanted, in a very small way, to allow people who might have been feeling kind of embarrassed or shame around their grief, or grieving somebody or something that wasn't conventional, like a parent or a sibling, a grandparent. I wanted them to be able to feel seen and to be like, I'm not crazy, because I know I felt that way. I can't even tell you how many times I would go to Google and be like, Google, is it normal to be feeling, I was just trying to find something to let me know that I wasn't going crazy when I was in the beginning stages of grief. And I just wanted to be able to somehow, some way, show that comfort to somebody else if they happen to be in that same place as me. So yeah, definitely Amigo is the driving force of The Beautiful Heart, and it's kind of written for him and kind of for me as well. So
that's amazing. And that's such, like, it's so hard when you lose a pet or a family member or something like that, especially, like you said, your soul pet. So I love the fact that you kind of turned that into a book to just kind of give yourself that one more day. And I'm sure other people who've read it have probably kind of I guess helps them on their journey as well. You said that so beautifully. I'm not really sure I can add anything onto that one. But yeah, it's hard. I mean, obviously I have had pets in the past, definitely I wouldn't say a soul pet. I haven't met my soul pet yet, but I guess for you it would have been incredibly hard when you lost him. So thank you so much for talking about it. And it's so lovely to kind of see that you said you've written that book and you use that what you want, I guess, but to kind of write it on a page, which I find is absolutely beautiful and not selfish at all. Just wanted to point that out. I think it's such a good way to process writing stuff down, and I love the fact that you've turned that into a book and put it out in the world as well. So that's absolutely beautiful there. So I guess you kind of talked about how that impacted your writing, and you said you're also a Christian author. Is there any, did your faith impact your writing as you wrote that one, or the Sky Child?
I would say definitively, on paper, I have this much credentials to be writing books. Like, honestly, I am a college dropout. I have no degree in anything. I have, I think, collectively 17 college credits before I jumped out of there and said, this is not for me. It's like, I don't have a degree in literature. I don't have a degree in fiction writing. I literally have no credentials to be doing this. And so just the fact that I have been able to write and publish 2 books. Collectively, I have written 5 different manuscripts. 3 are in abysmal states that need some work, because they are over there waiting their turn. But 2 of them have been written and edited and polished and published. And it blows my mind, because I did not think that was possible. I did not think that was something that I could do. And honestly, I set out starting my writing journey just for fun, and I didn't really expect anything to come of it. And so knowing that in my own self, I don't have the skill, I don't have the strengths or the powers to be able to be doing this. Of, oh, I went to school and these are all of my degrees and stuff. So I have no other recourse than to give glory back to God and say that these are all of His words, these are His ideas, these are His inspirations. And not every time, but every time I do remember to, I sit down in front of my computer to write, and I start with prayer and I say, Lord, this is your story, these are your words, what words do you want? And I don't even really like to call them, these are my books, because I like to see it that they are the Lord's words, they are the Lord's books, and He just happened to choose me to be the one to put my name on the cover and put it out into the world. But I see these stories as something that He wants out, and I just so happen to be the voice and the hands that do it. And so I give Him glory for everything, for all the people that I've met, for every single copy that I've sold, for the lives and the connections that I'm able to make on Instagram. It is all for Him. And He's my barometer as well of like, I am a Christian author, but I don't necessarily write Christian fiction. And so I use my faith as kind of like bumpers in a bowling alley, to kind of keep me on, guardrails kind of thing of like, I don't choose to write anything that is explicit or exceedingly foul language. I do use some language here and there, but it's just like it keeps in the PG-13 realm. And so some readers might not appreciate that, and I totally understand. But I don't use language that uses His name in vain. Like I use Him as my barometer of, what do I feel comfortable writing? Does it align pretty much with my faith? If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's not something that I feel comfortable writing. So He definitely influences the direction that the stories go and the different characters that come out of my keyboard. And so, yeah, for sure, He is the center of everything. And I honestly cannot imagine being creative or being in a creative space without being in partnership with Him, because I can't imagine, because He's always in there, always working and inspiring, and I can't imagine creating without Him. It's awesome.
Oh, I love that. I mean, as a Christian myself, it's so kind of awesome to kind of see how your faith influences your writing and how you put God at the center of it all. So it's such an inspiration for me as well, just to kind of hear you talk about that. You're such an inspiration anyway, because you've written 2 books, and that's amazing. And I really, really admire you for that. It doesn't matter about credentials, anyone can write. This may be a little cheesy, but like in the movie Ratatouille, Gusteau says anyone can cook. So.
Yes! Anyone can cook. I love that film. It is so good.
It's such a good film. But yeah, when you were like, I've not got any credentials or anything, I was like, this quote just come to mind. It's such an inspiration to hear your story. And so we've talked a little bit about The Beautiful Heart, and I'd love to talk about your other book, The Sky Child. So was there if you want to, you kind of give a little summary as well, but kind of what was your inspiration for writing The Sky Child?
That is a good question. So the basic summary is The Sky Child is a book about choices, and it follows a father and a daughter, and it kind of over the course of the father's life, from being a young man to being a man in his midlife or so. And it just kind of follows them of like, how much power does one choice have? How much can a life change based off of a choice? Is it a big choice? Is it a little choice? And kind of how both of their lives are affected by the choices the other makes. And it's very much how do you find yourself in these choices? And like sometimes the choices are challenged and they don't always end up well, or maybe it's a spur of the moment thing and it doesn't kind of blows up in their face kind of a thing. And so they learn to figure out who they are, where they fit, and how to stand by their convictions of their choices based off of how they kind of ebb and flow with each other and the different characters around them as they move on their journey to really finding who they are and kind of what their calling in life is, and how they just kind of interact and ping pong off of the other characters in the book. So kind of wrapping up in a little bow very quickly. that's the general direction of the book. But the inspiration kind of came in 2 different parts, really. Like, part of it was looking at society and people and just kind of seeing how some people were gravitating more towards certain animals or different areas. Like, people like, oh, I'm a beach person, or I'm a mountain person, or, I'm an adrenaline junkie kind of a thing, or just, I know I'm really drawn to this kind of animal, of just kind of like exploring that angle. And also, I'm gonna out myself here, but as a child, I was very much obsessed with Peter Pan. I loved him, and just like the idea of never growing up, and the idea of being able to like just kind of fly away and cause chaos and then just leave. And so as I was kind of coming up, there was a unfortunate situation with my family, and I just kind of had this situation where I was like, gosh, I wish I could just fly away. And I kind of had this unfortunate like anger at myself, like, why can't you just fly? Why can't you be like Peter Pan? And I kind of started thinking about, what would that be like if a bird was trapped in a human's body? And like, what would it be like for them to kind of have this innate desire to get up off the ground and to leave, but they were just stuck here? And that kind of became the bedrock foundation of the Sky Child's FMC Mila, where she just is like, she's stuck and she's agitated. And then I'm kind of like, well, what would that be like? So she'd want to get off the ground, right? And she'd want to do things like, go to a trampoline park, or go hang gliding, or jump out of an airplane, or do all of these different things. But then, okay, she's not invincible, so, oh, she would get hurt. But why would she get hurt? Well, maybe she could break bones. Okay, well, what about birds? Birds have hollow bones, so let's give her brittle bone disease. And it kind of built around that idea of what would it be like for her to kind of like, in a way, like be a bird, but be stuck in a human's body. And so that kind of became the foundation between that and how people are so connected or drawn to certain animals or different environments, kind of became the starting point for the story itself. Of it's kind of the book is written in two parts, so it heavily focuses on the MMC in the first half, and then it focuses on Mila in the second half. And so in the first half, it's just this kind of weird dynamic of there's these different kingdoms of these animals, and that it can change into humans if they want to. And so that kind of like spreads into the idea that there are people among us who have different types of, almost in a way, like animal DNA, and how they kind of just move around, and what would that be like? Do they know? Do they not know? And so that just sort of bled into Mila's struggles of, she just feels really disconnected with her life. She wants to kind of get up and fly away because she doesn't feel like she belongs here. And through the course of the story, she figures out her background and what's going on, and then she eventually kind of finds a way to figure out how to make all of that work in her. So yeah, basically Peter Pan was kind of the starting point of this whole thing. It sounds weird, and I can hear myself, but somehow it makes sense. It all makes sense in the book at the end. So
yeah. No, that's not weird at all. I mean, Peter Pan is such a great inspiration, and I love you. Again, you've explained it so beautifully. I did also love Peter Pan as a child, so
he's just so lovable. There's just something about him, He's just, it's that, I guess, spirit of youth and fun and whimsy, I guess, in a way that we all kind of secretly still pine for, even though we're growing up and stuff. Yeah, so he's great. I love him.
Totally agree on that one. And if we kind of move on to the next bit, was there, I thought I'd just kind of talk a little bit about your writing. So like, did you, how am I going to phrase this? Like, was there a certain point where you started writing? Like, when did you start writing? Were you writing as a child? Sorry, a million questions trying to sum it up into one.
So I wrote my first book, and I use this lightly because it was literally scribbles on printer paper, but I was probably 8 or 9 years old, I think, and I just scribbled out a story, and I was the main character, because why wouldn't I be? And it was about, there was a horse, and she was magical, and she grew wings, and she saved me from a pack of hungry wolves, and the end. Like, it was, apparently wolves was the worst thing I could think about as 8 years old, as I was 8. So I kind of always been a girl of words, and stories. My mom would read me a story, and me and my sister a story every single night. And then as we got older, my dad would make these almost kind of like soap opera telenovela stories every night. He would sit down, there was these two main characters, and he'd put us in bed and tell us 5-10 minute story, and then the next day we tell us more. He's like, okay, well, where were we? And we would tell him, and he would make up more. So it always was stories, always was books growing up. And I would dabble in writing from 8 or 9 or so, and then around high school I really started to I was like, I'm gonna be serious about this. I'm gonna pick one of these stories and I'm just gonna start it and write it. And I wrote myself into so many corners, and I started over a million different times, and then I eventually reached the biggest dead end, and I've run out of steam. This isn't for me anymore. And I was probably very early 20s or late teens when that happened, and I didn't touch writing for years, literal years. All of my stories sat in my computer, just buried there, set to die, basically. And I must have been, I joke that it was boredom over the pandemic, but it was definitively the Lord's influence. He just inspired me one day and said, grab 2, 3, 4 of these story ideas that you had, because I mostly would just write concepts of cotton candy makes you, fly, something like that. It was just little snippets like that of just these ideas and these concepts instead of full-fledged stories. And so I grabbed 4 of those and just started writing, and it was slow at first, and then I just caught the bug, I guess, and all of these words came out, and I was able to complete a manuscript in just about a year, and I went, this is fun, and I kept doing it. And so from that point, that was beginning of 2021, I have written 5 complete manuscripts and published 2, and working on getting a 3rd out. So that's where we're at.
That's amazing, and such an inspiration. And yeah, I think clearly the pandemic, even though it was a horrible kind of place of lockdown, was that moment for you that the Lord decided to use you and go, right, here's some writing.
Something to escape and to go somewhere else, instead of staying at home.
Yeah, and I think that's such a beautiful kind of journey of growing up with all those stories as well. I mean, my dad, he didn't really tell me stories, but you do the voices for different characters as you read stories before bed. So that's what I got growing up. Although I think we only really got halfway through one book kind of towards the end when I kind of grew out of it a little bit. But we were reading Swallows and Amazons at the time, and I don't know the full story because we stopped halfway through.
How does it end? I don't know.
I think I've watched the film, but I don't remember it at all. But yeah, no, that is beautiful though. And then here's kind of veering off a little bit out of the writing and more back into your stories. So if your characters, all the ones that you've written in both of your books, if they could be put into any other world, it could be a fantasy world, it could be anywhere, where would they go if they weren't in your books?
Oh, that is such a really, really good question. I think let's just start at the beginning. Let's start with the Sky Child. So for the MMC, his name is Harrison. He's very down to earth, especially as he grows older. As a young guy, his head is literally in the clouds, and he's just out there for a good time. But as he gets older, he grounds and he matures. And so I think for him, he would be very much content, almost in a way going back into his memories of going into a previous time in his life. If he could pin drop himself anywhere, it would be back in his homeland and just kind of in the areas that he grew up with his people, and just kind of in the good old days kind of a thing. I think that's where Harrison would go. And then Mila, here we go back to Peter Pan. She would go to Neverland for sure, because she is a Spitfire, and I think that she would get along so well with Lost Boys and fighting pirates, and just kind of having that feisty spirit of youth, and just this is who I am, and we're going to cause chaos while we're here, and we're going to have fun doing it. So I think for her, definitely she would head there for a while. And in The Beautiful Hard, it's a very small cast. It's mostly Ray and Aster, and there's just a few supporting characters. But for Ray, I think for her, she would go to somewhere that is peaceful. And there is a lot of her backstory is rather unfortunate. sorry, Ray, but it's for the plot. So, but I think for her, she would be looking for some place that is serene and peaceful and just very down to earth, quiet. And I think probably for her, if it had to be a specific time or place, I would definitely say like not full-fledged Wild West, not like, gunslingers and all this stuff, but just kind of like prairie days, just very peaceful, quiet, small life, not anything super busy or chaotic. She just very much likes her own company and her own space and her horses. So if she could have just quiet, peace and quiet and her horses, she would be absolutely set. And for Aster, probably it would be the same, that because they're such good friends that he would kind of want to be wherever she was, and just a place that was calm and quiet, that he could be happy and have room to run. That would be where he'd want to go.
Oh, I love that. That is amazing. Yeah, those beautiful places you've described there as well. Yeah, I can kind of imagine with the beautiful hard characters, kind of just him having their own little house in the middle of nowhere with open fields.
Yes, they would love that so much, and just be like, this is our little oasis, this is home, and out there doesn't exist, just right here, this is where we get to be. Yeah,
their own little bubble.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, amazing. And I thought I'd kind of tag on to the end of that. If you could go to any fantasy world, where would you go? It doesn't have to be fantasy again, but can be your world.
Oh my gosh, this is a kind of again, it feels like this kind of outs me a little bit, but my all-time favorite book series is the Kingdom Keepers series by Ridley Pearson. And it's I would say kind of slightly middle grades, young adult series, which are like, why are you reading that? Well, I started reading it when I was 12 years old, okay? So it started out with book 2 or so when I kind of jumped into the series. There was 1 and 2 that were out. And now it has expanded to 7 books in the main series, and then there's a few filler novellas, and there's like 3 in the addendum series, and then there's like an extra series where there's 3 or 4 more, and so it just keeps growing in this world. And so because this series was so influential with me getting back into reading, I would power through these books. I'd stay up late, I'd forgo homework. I was just like, these books were everything growing up through high school. And so as I got, I was in my 20s, I was finishing the series, and I'm like, you should be reading something else. Like, no, these are awesome. So that was the series for me that just really heightened my love of reading. So if I could pick a world, I would definitely go into the world of the Kingdom Keepers, because I'm a Disney girl as well. I love all things Disney. And the premise of the Kingdom Keepers is there's these 5 teenagers who kind of, through a blending of Disney magic and Disney engineering, end up getting into the theme parks at Walt Disney World at night. And at night, while the parks are shut down and the guests go home, the Disney characters come to life, both good and bad. And the teenagers are tasked with kind of fighting back the Disney villains who want to take over the parks for their own selfish gain. And so there's all of these different misadventures, and then they get to go on the rides at night, but things come alive and try to, take them out. So it's this whole wide thing. It goes through all the different parks in Walt Disney World, through the Disney Cruise Line, and all the way over to the parks here in California. And it is just this expansive, massive world of Disney magic and Disney characters, and just this kind of whole idea of these teenagers and they're banding together, kind of found family like, and they're figuring out who they are and fighting and kind of coming into their own. So it's just very much like, I want to do that too. And so I think if I had the opportunity to go run around in the Disney parks at night, I would take it the first chance I had. So that's where I would go.
I would totally join you in that. I grew up a massive Disney nerd, so I was like, I have to go to Disney. I've only ever been to Disney Paris because COVID hit when I was supposed to go to Disney Florida for 2 weeks.
Oh no! Oh, that's awful. I'm so sorry.
But it's fine. Instead, for my 18th, I went to Paris for a week with my parents. So
that's not bad either.
Amazing. A few days in Paris, a few days in Disney. I had the time of my life, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. I'd love to make it to Disneyland Paris at some point, but we'll see how that goes. Oh man, it's awesome.
Yeah, but no, massive Disney nerd, so totally understand. Brilliant. So I've got a few more questions, and we're slowly running out of time. So
I'll talk fast.
The next question I've got here is like, what was one essential piece of advice you'd give yourself when you were writing? Was there like anything that kind of one essential bit, I guess, that got you through both obviously writing your books, or was like, would you listening to music or anything on that kind of path?
I think if I had to be succinct about it, I would just say get words on the page. Just show up every single day. If you have 5 minutes to write, you have 5 minutes to write. Get 2 words. And same with editing. If you only have 10 minutes to edit, that's what you do. If you edit a chapter, great. If you edit 5 chapters, great. Just every little baby step forward is still a step forward, and it needs to be celebrated just as much as the big ones, because it's the little ones that incrementally move you closer to your goal. And to just keep showing up for yourself every chance you have, eventually you'll get to where you want to go with that. So that was for me the big thing of just keep showing up, let the Lord put the words out there, direct the story where it wants to go, and just kind of go from there. Just keep showing up every single day as much as you can. So yeah,
that's amazing, and there's a lovely kind of piece of advice there. I guess it's a beautiful piece of advice. I can't really think of any more words. My brain has gone. Anyway, and here's kind of, I guess, less more about your books now. Just kind of some vaguish questions. Are there any like book recommendations or like comparisons to like anything that like of what you've written, or is there like any book any book recommendation?
So I would definitely say in the whole author sphere, comp titles are where I'm weakest. I don't really know how to like go, oh yes, this, that, the other thing, because I feel like a lot of my stories, they're like book smoothies. They have tiny elements of so many different stories kind of thrown into them that I guess, is that a comp title? I'm not entirely sure. So for The Sky Child, it kind of has main elements of, it's like sprinkled in a little bit aspects of Narnia. It has a lot of influence, kind of ideas and themes from like The Little Mermaid, as well as The Princess Diary. So it's kind of like this whole hodgepodge of coming of age, and there's, shape shifting between animals and humans, and just kind of this whole animal world. So those are kind of the ones that I sort of try my best to say, it's sort of like these. And then for The Beautiful Heart, it definitely has kind of that emotional side of things, kind of like A Dog's Purpose or Marley and Me, even like War Horse as well as themes of grief like in Charlie St. Cloud, and also kind of the idea of that someone comes back from your past to kind of help guide you through, kind of in theme scene in Disney's movie The Kid. So it's just kind of like these little random, I guess, cherry pick things that just smush together and say, this is the thing I made. I'm not entirely sure if it works, but if you like any of these aspects, they're kind of in this one over here. So for sure, yeah.
Some great inspirations and a great little mod. I guess like every book nowadays is kind of inspired by other books or kind of TV and shows and films. So I guess it's kind of, it's so nice just to kind of hear kind of what the little inspirations and the little kind of what the books might be like, which is a brilliant mashup. Is that the right word?
Yeah, it's a mashup. It's kind of this smushed together and say, there's, if you like sort of these elements, you can kind of find them right there. So.
Yeah, brilliant. And is there anything you're currently reading?
Well, aside from my own manuscript that I'm up to my eyeballs editing, not right now, but I have a arc that is on my back burner that I cannot wait to get to. So that's going to be my next read once I get through this round of edits. And I'm really excited to actually be able to read something that, I enjoy, because I'm kind of at that point in my editing where I'm like, I hate everything and this is awful. Like, I can't believe this. So I'm looking forward to reading something that's polished and nice and that I actually enjoy and not have to like nitpick every 2 words or so. So that would be great.
I love that. I have way too many things to read. So I'm currently on like, I think I'm in the middle of 2 books. And then I've got like 17 different library holds, and I'm like, what am I going to do with those?
Oh my goodness.
Slowly running out of time.
Off and just sit there and read for the whole weekend. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd love that. I mean, when I was traveling, because I've just been in Sweden for 2 weeks, when I was traveling, I think I got through like 4 books, and most of them were audiobooks, because like my parents would be driving in the camper van and I'd just be there with an audiobook on.
That is the way to go. Just clap on the headphones and be like, I'm gone. Just like, let me hear a story. Yes. For
Yeah,
sure.
by the last few
That's the way
days
to
though,
go.
I was like, I'm gonna watch a TV show because I've had enough of reading. I need to get back into my books. I really do.
Yeah.
But thank you. I mean, you've had some beautiful answers there, and yeah, it's been so lovely to interview you.
Likewise.
Hi, it's Magically Unofficial here. Thank you so much for watching this interview. I hope you find a new indie author via watching my videos and discover new indie authors as well. To get notifications for when my next indie author interviews will be out, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell so you get notified when my next interview is out. I hope you have a fabulous day, and yeah, I hope you find a new favourite indie author to read. Bye!